All right, man. Torture talk. Ah, the immortal king is back. Night King is here. How y'all doing? I hope everybody's doing well. I'm looking good. I'm looking good. Shout out to me. All right, man. Look, man. So today we're gonna do a breakdown on. I want to talk about Sinners. I went to see Sinners yesterday, and oh man, whew. I have a lot to say about this film. It's so much in this film. We're gonna watch a short video, not that long, and I'm gonna talk about it and give my predictions and my not predictions, but I'm gonna give my take on it. And also too, this film gives a subtle nod to Kendrick Lamar. And it's so crazy how I say Kendrick Lamar is a time traveler because he speaks on this in a way through a song. You know what I'm saying? Kendrick speaks on this through one of his songs on GNX. And it's not directly related, but it's definitely something that you could say, okay, Kendrick was on to something. Before I get into that, I got to get a legendary spill. This is Torture Talk. If you like the content, please consider subscribing. If you're new here, let me work for your subscription today. All the beautiful, single, sexy ladies, put one in the chat. All the fellas, y'all know to find the ones that just don't harass them. I don't sell no merch, but I do have content absolutely free. But if you want to leave a donation, where's it at? Right there. Hey, there it is. Right there. Right there. You want to leave a donation? Cash App. Right there. Cash App is on the screen. They call me the hidden gem. I went from 1,300 subscribers to over 17,000. And yes, I am the king of the north. Let me know what kingdom you from also too. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers a week. So please help me out. And yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that. So we're gonna get into this short video and then we're gonna talk about this movie because I got a lot to say about this film. So let's get it. All right, so Sinners directed by Ryan Coogler, who did Fruitvale Station and he did Black Panther, both Black Panthers, I believe he did both. The first one was epic. I didn't really like the second one too much, but the first one was really good. And he's this is good. So we're gonna break this down. Now, and this is more about, is this movie about Christianity or is it non-Christian, non-Christian? Is it anti-Christian or is it Christian? And I got a lot to say on this, and I'm gonna tell y'all my theory on what I think he was trying to do. But let's watch a little bit. We're gonna come back. We're gonna discuss. You know how we do over here. Let's get it.
By the time the credits start rolling in Ryan Coogler's latest film, Sinners, you'd be forgiven for thinking that this movie appears to have a pretty strong anti-Christian message. But what's the movie really trying to say about organised religion and, more importantly, faith? Major spoiler warning ahead. Before discussing the film's
Yeah, I was gonna say that if you ain't see the movie, don't watch this video. I'm gonna put it on the title. Spoiler alert. You know what I'm saying? Spoiler alert. But yeah, let's keep it going a little bit, and I'm gonna get my take on what he just said.
religious themes, we need to first understand the key plot points of the story. The film follows two twin brothers, Smoke and Stack, as they return to their old town to open a juke joint. They recruit the help of their cousin Sammy, who appears to have an incredible talent for music, and the twins spend the day organizing a huge opening night. And when the night comes, everything seems to be going along perfectly, until three strangers turn up at the door asking to be invited in. They turn out to be vampires, drawn to the juke by the sound of Sammy's otherworldly music. Eventually, the vampires are able to kill and convert the majority of the partygoers, creating a huge swarm of the living dead, all with the intention of taking Sammy as one of their own, as his music has the power to summon spirits from the past and the future.
All right, so the thing is about this movie, right? There's a lot of symbolism in this movie. I think a lot of people are going to walk away with them just saying this is this is a phenomenal movie. I'm not even going to tell you. I'm not going to hold you. A lot of people gonna walk away with that sentiment. But you got to understand, there's so much going on that I think a lot of people don't understand. You know what I'm saying? Now, as far as the two Stack and Smoke, um, these guys grew up. Their dad was an evil man. You know what I'm saying? Which leads into why one of them was the way they was. Not gonna say which one, just one of them was the way they was. Also, too, it leads into why he was with the woman he was with. And basically saying that he needed help with his demons. Also, it leads into the young man who played the guitar, who definitely didn't want to be a part of what his father was doing. But see, one of the twins wanted the young man to be like his father because he was saying, well, my father wasn't like that. So he wanted to live vicariously through him. But the other twin was more carefree. He didn't really care for that too much. So that was the opening scene. And when you see him walk into the church, the part where he walks into the church and then he has the guitar in his hand and his father is a preacher and his father is basically saying, get the devil out of you. Music is the devil. You know what I'm saying? So they call this a bookmark when they showed the end of the movie in the beginning of the movie. I believe that's what it's called.
Is killed and returns as one of the intention of taking Sammy as one of their own, as his music has the power to summon spirits from the past and the future. Stack is killed and returns as one of the evil vampires, while Smoke protects Sammy before eventually dying in a shootout with the KKK the following morning, who had always originally planned to kill the two brothers from the beginning of the film. Sammy returns.
Now that's another thing too. I see a lot of people saying that this movie is woke. And let's be clear here. I'm not really up on the woke stuff. I'm not even gonna sit here and tell y'all, and I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm not on that. You know what I'm saying? I like truth. Whether it's from whatever. I like truth. You know what I'm saying? And trust me, I know all about the woke shit because I was into the third eye, I was in the God body, I was in all that. So you can't tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing. I know about it. You know what I'm saying? I just think the way they took it and maneuvered it into something totally different from what I know it as, no, I'm not feeling that. But anyway, for you to say that this movie is woke is kind of stupid. Because number one, this is what was going on back in the 1930s. It's not a woke movie. This is what black people, white people, Asian people, and everybody else that was in this film going through. They were going through this type of lifestyle back then. So it's not woke. It's what it was. You know what I'm saying? It's what it was. There's other things that I could say that if you said it was woke and it happened in this movie, I could point it out and say, okay, yeah, that right there. But for everybody that's saying it's woke, cut it out. Cut it out. A lot of y'all out here saying it's a woke film. No, it's not. You know what I'm saying? It's a film about the 1930s and what happened back then. Now, if you're mad that they're showing elements of what white people did to black people back then you are just biased and you probably are racist. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to be honest with you. If you're mad about them showing stuff that happened to black people, or why do y'all keep talking about it? The same reason why other groups keep talking about certain things. We're going to do the same thing. But with that being pushed to the side, the KKK part where he asked him, he said, your Klans boys ain't gonna come around here. And he said, oh, what Klans? There ain't no more Klansmen. Ain't no more. And then the next day, they showed up to kill everybody in the juke joint. So he went and gathered all these people. He took their money. He basically, what he was gonna do was, he took the twins' money, went back, gathered all his men, the next day came in and tried to kill him. And you know the crazy part is, they say the freaks come out at night and everything happens at night. But these guys came in the morning to do it. You know what I'm saying? And that's another double entendre too, where it's everything happened at night, and that one night everything happened. And then the next day, even if they made it through that, they was going to have to deal with that. And basically what they were saying on that one part was that at that time, even what they were dealing with at the time, which we all know was vampires, the white man was more evil than vampires. Basically, that's what he was saying. At that time, the white man, even though the vampires was white, we're talking about people that are not vampires. The white man was more evil than the vampires. Let that sink in. And also, too, there's another part that's not really being talked about, where and this also leads into the spirituality where people conjure up spirits. Is we know Indians have a good way of doing these things where they smoking priest pipe and they saying that, Indians do, Native Americans do these things. The Native Americans, for some reason, either the vampire was scared of them, or it was because it was in the daytime. He was trying to escape the sun, right? Which was fantastic how they did that part, because it came out of nowhere. This movie is like two movies that merge into one movie. We're gonna keep it going. I know I got a lot to say. I'm sorry I had this little run on, but I got a whole lot to say about theories on this movie. Let's keep it going.
To the church, where his father, the pastor, asks him to renounce his love for music and embrace God. The credits roll. At this point, looking over the film, on a first reading, it does seem like the movie may have an anti-Christian message. Throughout the film, Christian belief appears at times to be a largely ineffective force against the vampires, while pagan spirituality seems to be affirmed. One could...
Well, I will say that he's kind of right about that. He's kind of right about that, but I believe it's only if you believe. That's it. Because the other guy who was in the film, the other actor, I remember his name, but I can't remember it right now. I remember it, but he was in the film. He said that he went through something similar to that, but he basically couldn't stop it. You know what I'm saying? Now, when one of the twins had on a necklace, it kind of propels, it was helping him. And this woman here, she said to him, what I've been doing out here is saving you and your brother. You know what I'm saying? And he said, well, you didn't save such and such. And they said, well, I can't save everybody. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't work for, sometimes it just doesn't work. So basically what he's saying now, as far as him saying the Christianity thing, where I think that, basically what it's being said is everybody's God's children, whether evil, whether good, bad, evil. That's why I think Christianity wasn't at the forefront, or it didn't play as much, how would I say, as much shielding that it should have played in some people's eyes. Because when there was a certain part where somebody was reciting a Bible verse, and one of the vampires recited the Bible verse with him and said, yeah, it makes me feel good too saying that. So basically, I don't believe it was in the fact of, how would I say this? I don't believe it was, they was, downgrading Christianity. I think they was basically saying like, well, even evil is all of God's children because he created everything. So I think that's what it was. And it wasn't like, and I don't think Christianity, I think a lot of people get this messed up. In my opinion, I think people think Christianity is a weapon against evil. I don't think that that's the case. I don't think it's a weapon. I know people use crosses and stuff like that in these vampire movies, but truth be told, I guess that's just the representation of what's actually purely good. They're saying like, well, Jesus Christ is purely good. and your sin died on the sin. I'm gonna get into the whole sinning aspect too in a second, but I believe that that's what people use the cross for. But I think that's I think in these times of vampire movies, that's in the fictional realm of vampire movies. I think that that's a myth in those fictional realms. People look at it like that doesn't work. You've seen other movies where they put a cross up and they did the vampire did it themselves. Like that. Come on, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Come on. So let's keep going.
Read this as the film suggesting that, in comparison to pagan beliefs, Christian faith has no credence, no practical value, which does feel dismissive towards those who do believe. This sentiment appears to be reinforced when, at the end of the night, Sammy is surrounded by the vampires and he begins to recite the Lord's Prayer. The vampires all begin to recite the prayer as well, with the leader claiming that the prayer also brings him comfort. One could interpret this as yet again suggesting that Christian belief and faith has no value when confronting an evil force in the world, with the vampires themselves appearing to reinforce this through their adoption of the prayer. And then with the
Because I think the vampires understand in this movie, in my opinion, I think the reason why they doing that is because they understand that they come from the same cloth. They just have immortality. That's what I believe. And also I believe vampires, they don't believe that they're doing anything bad. They think that they're doing something good because they want to bring their loved ones back. He even spoke on the whole racism thing where he was basically saying like, well, in a way, I'm paraphrasing, saying that, well, we're not like that. We're here for something else. You know what I'm saying? It's basically we're saying they like, again, as far as the Klansmen being worse than the way they set it up was the Klansmen was, if you made it through the night, you ain't gonna definitely make it through the morning. Like, you know what I'm saying? The Klansmen was supposed to be worse than that. So I understand that. Also, too, the belief, I believe that everybody believes in Christianity in this movie. Just some people didn't follow it all the way, but everybody believes in Christianity. Everybody from the guitars, from the twins, from everybody believed in it. Even the vampires, even the Klansmen. I believe they're all Christians too, or I don't know, they were Christians, but they believe in that too. So everybody. So basically, that was the centerpiece, and I think that's why the movie's called Sinners. You know what I'm saying? It's called Sinners for a reason. And I'm gonna explain why. But let's keep going.
final scene, it's implied by the pastor that Sammy's talent for music is somehow in direct opposition to how he should be as a Christian. This is clearly representative of how parts of organized religion has at times attempted to dictate, stifle, and suppress people for things like enjoying music or other creative pursuits. The final scene in the church appears to draw attention to this, and one could read Sammy's refusal to let go of the guitar as representative of a direct refusal of Christian faith, something of which the film seems to celebrate as a brave act. But then, something bizarre occurs.
Now, okay, let me speak on that. I think that is one of the reasons why he didn't win. Because the thing is, he did everything. Sammy did everything right. He did everything right. He met his quota with the picking the cotton, and only thing he loved more than anything was making music. But see, in the beginning of the movie, they explained that. They explained that if you love music so much, the blues especially, these things can conjure up things that are from the past, the present, the future, and it can also conjure up things that shouldn't be here. And I think that's what happened. I mean, that's basically what actually happened. You know what I'm saying? I think the vampire, they didn't when the vampire arrived and he went to the house, he took over their house. They let him in. You know what I'm saying? Because and it's crazy how they let him in because the Indians was coming after him. And the Indians came to the door and they said, "Do you see a man? This man, he's no good, I'm telling you." And then one of the Indians said, "Well, they're already gone. We might as well get out of here because they're already gone. Because once the night come, it's over." And they had to leave before the sun came going down. So they left, and he went in the house. He went, and obviously something happened. And then vampires have this keen sense of hearing things. They can hear things in the fictional stories. They can hear things from miles and miles away. So and they have they're just like they're like super beings. You know what I'm saying? And basically they heard Sammy playing. And his father, remember, Sammy's father told him that that's the devil's music. That stuff is the devil. You know what I'm saying? Now, this is how that's, to me, it's a subtle nod or connection to reincarnated, right? And matter of fact, I'm gonna get into that a little more in the end of the movie. I mean, the end of the clip, because there's a big reason why I say it's that. Let's keep it going.
The credits begin to roll, and what appears to be a cutscene transforms into an extended epilogue with important ramifications for what I believe the film is truly trying to explore. We see Sammy as an old man, years into the future, making a life for himself as a famous musician. He's told by someone that 2 fans are willing to pay big money to see him, and he invites them in. As established throughout the film, the vampires can only come into a room if you invite them in. We see Stack and his love.
Now that to me, that's a big nod towards traditional, well, more like True Blood. If anybody ever watched True Blood, I love vampire movies. Everybody was True Blood. True Blood was a little bit different, but they also had to be invited in. Vampires, it's kind of like the devil's at your door. The only way he can get in is if you invite him in. And the reason why that statement is people are saying that statement is because when they say the devil's at your door, they mean that when you are at the crossroads of doing something bad, right? You invite the devil in by falling into that type of life, whether it's drugs, whether it's murder, anything you want to think of. Once you invite the devil in your house, he's always going to be in there. That's basically what they're saying when they say it. So and this thing is, this goes beyond this movie. When the vampires come to your door, that's basically saying the devil is at your door and he's trying to get in. And they are very persuasive. Now, in True Blood, they used to do things called glamour you. And that's the only way they can really get in, is if they talk to you in such a tone and hypnotize you, and they make you kind of say and do whatever they want. Some people fall into it because they don't have the capacity to repel it. But some people have the personality to repel it. Like, nah, I'm good. Like, you ain't gonna do that to me. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. So that's why people say Prince was a vampire. You know what I'm saying? Because he used to do that to people. I think one of them comedians said that. But anyway, this is what they do. So when he showed up when the vampire showed up to the door and asked to be let in, it doesn't matter how he gets in. And I'm gonna explain. How he asked to get in was kind of like what it is with culture appropriation with music. Because the reason why he came to the door was because of music. And they played music, but the music that they played was nothing like what Sammy was playing. And it was actually all right. I'm not going to sit here and shit on them. It was actually pretty good. But they were nothing like what Sammy was playing. And they knew that. Now, they knew that Sammy had a connection between the real world and the supernatural because how good he was. And the vampire, he felt as though that Sammy can give him back some of his loved ones, because if he plays, he can conjure them back up. Because you notice, now if y'all seen it, you notice when Sammy was playing, what did the vampires see? They seen everything burned down. They seen everything, all the stuff that Ryan Coogler was showing as far as people dancing and all that. He seen that. How did he see that? Because he was connected to Sammy through the parallel universe, through the supernatural universe. So he knew for a fact that guy right there can bring back people in some type of way, or he can put me or teach me how to do it, and I can do it. So this is why he wanted him. And let's keep it going.
enter the room, two vampires who haven't aged a day. Stack reveals that instead of Smoke killing him with a stake as the audience was previously led to believe, Smoke made him promise to watch over Sammy and offer him the chance for immortality at the right time. Sammy refuses their offer, saying that he's seen enough on this earth, and he tells Stack that before the vampires attacked everyone on that fateful day of the Duke joint, it was the best day of his life. He asks Stack...
Now, in that scene, when they met him in the future, now you understand this was in the 30s, this happened in the 30s. They fast forward to the 80s, right? So in the 80s, they've been following him around. Two vampires been following him around. When they get there, they talk to him and they tell him what happened. So my brother, he made me promise not to kill you, not to turn you. He made me promise that in order for me to live, and I have to leave. And that's what he did. He promised his brother. That's another thing too that is a very, very good connection, because the way he did it, the vampires were very well aware of what was going on. And that lets you know that every vampire isn't evil. They're not all evil. Some of the vampires are actually, they're good. And he protected him all these years. Now, I mean, he might have thought that it was him himself doing it, but he protected him. And also, too, he said to him, he offered to turn him. He said, look, I can turn you and you can be here forever. Right? And he said no. And the reason why he said no is because he said that his life before the vampires came in and did what they did, that was the best time of his life. And he don't ever want to change that. And I'm going to tell y'all why. And this goes into my thing where I said the movie's called Sinners. Everybody was sinners in this movie. Everybody. That's one. Two, the reason why he said it was the best time of his life is because he had an affair with a married woman. And he might have been a virgin. He didn't say, but he might have been a virgin. And he did something to her that I think either she never had done to her before, or he just was so attracted to her. But there's another scene where I'm gonna touch on in a second about the other female in the movie and what happened with her. But let's keep it going.
If he feels the same. Stack surprisingly agrees, reflecting on his final moments being able to see the sun and being able to see his brother. The vampires leave Sammy and they part on good terms, and for a moment we see a brief flashback of a younger Sammy before everything playing the gospel song This Little Light of Mine in the church. For me, this epilogue turned the film on its head. I believe that the whole movie is depicting a battle of faith. There's faith in power, and power only as we see through Smoke. There's faith in eternal non-existence, the destruction of self through the vampires and their shared sentience as one eternal being. And there's faith in God, or more simply, faith itself explored through Sammy. In simple terms, I think you can view the vampires as almost representative of atheism, of there truly being nothing after death, because for them, there is no death. There is only immortality. Importantly, in this closing scene,
I kind of agree. I could agree with that. I can agree with that. I definitely believe that the vampires do believe that, not that they're higher beings, but they believe in immortality. And I do believe that they're more like lost souls, and they looking for certain things to actually, certain people to actually come back to them. That's basically what it is. I don't think it's necessarily that they had a religious faith. I do believe that they acknowledged the religious faith, but I also believe that when it comes to them, it's all about immortality. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about.
Sammy rejects the offer of that, choosing his faith in something else instead. The final shot of him as a young man playing guitar in the church further reinforces his choice as one based within a spiritual framework, one that is potentially linked to Christian faith. To revisit my previous points within this context, Christianity isn't actually as ineffective as you may originally think in the film if you look a little bit deeper. While it doesn't play a large effective role in combating the vampires, holy water is mentioned and proven as a deterrent against the vampires, while a powerful Native American vampire hunter references God as a protective force. In regards to the Lord's Prayer scene I discussed earlier, literally a few seconds later after the vampires mock the prayer, the sun rises and they're burnt to a crisp, arguably demonstrating the power of the prayer and of faith in God. Through a symbolic lens, the faith that Sammy had in the prayer is able to vanquish the vampires, which represent doubt and cynicism in Christian faith, albeit temporarily. But when faced with the choice once again in the epilogue, Sammy again refuses their offer.
Now, I don't know if I don't agree with that part. I don't agree that the prayer was the reason why the vampire suffered. No, it was the sun, and it was him being stabbed with a stake. I don't believe it was. Now they did pray. Maybe he's saying that maybe he's saying this. Maybe he's saying that him saying the prayer actually helped him because God showed up and showed himself and helped him. Maybe that's what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? But if you're a person who's not into religion like that, you would look at it from the other side. You look at it from, well, this is how he actually died. So let's keep it going.
Throughout the film, the vampires need an invitation to come inside, and I find this representative of the battle that one can have within their own faith, choosing to allow doubts and cynicism to enter your mind, or choosing to have faith in the goodness of what you believe in. The movie opens with Sammy's father, the pastor, saying that you keep dancing with the devil and one day it's gonna follow you home. And the film exists of proof of that. Whether you're a religious person or not, if you choose to engage in too much of alcohol, drugs, maybe even partying, etc., we can all agree that it has a negative effect on a person and on society. Not always, but when it's taken too far, it does. The movie doesn't shy away from that.
That goes right back to what I just said about the devil being at your door and you make these decisions. That's exactly what I mean by that. People do these things, and that's another reason why the movie is called Sinners. You know what I'm saying? That is another thing that I think that this movie is rooted in Christianity because it's called Sinners. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to get to it. Let's go.
Message, and instead looks at those ideas through an empathetic lens, which is really important. To conclude, overall, I think the film appears more critical of organized religion rather than spirituality itself. There is still room for Christian belief within the type of spirituality that the film is a proponent of, but just maybe not in the conventional way that we've come to expect. And I think that's okay.
That's exactly what I'm saying. It's not in the conventional way. That's what makes this film so good. It's not something you pull a cross out and they burn, like, you know what I'm saying? And then the whole thing with garlic, when they ate the garlic, and it's like, you want to see, you know, and you don't really know if that actually affects them because he got thrown garlic. It did affect him, but maybe it was just something that, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But it did affect him. I would say that, but it wasn't as what they thought it was. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it going.
Maybe I am reading this wrong, and maybe Coogler does have some kind of anti-Christian, anti-religious message that he wants to portray. As a Christian myself who feels most closely aligned in values with the uniting church in Australia, I don't want to believe that's true. And more importantly, I don't think that's true. I did truly want to enjoy this movie, and maybe that does make me biased. Maybe I was looking for a more positive reading from this that aligns with my beliefs that wasn't wasn't there. But I do choose to believe that Sinners offers a positive reflection on the power of faith itself, and that is something that aligns closely with my sense of spirituality as a Christian. The movie explores that faith is a powerful thing, but it is also a conscious choice that anyone can choose to make. But regardless, I believe that Coogler proves himself here as a tremendously talented director, in that he's able to present these ideas in an ambiguous and thought-provoking way, and leave it up to us as the audience to come to the conclusions for ourselves. This is a movie that...
Yeah, he's right. He's right.
will spark conversation, spark intellectual thought and debate, and that is what a truly great film should do.
All right. Okay, so this is a subtle nod, or this is a nod to what Kendrick Lamar has said in the song. And basically, this song here was basically talking about reincarnated and how the power of music. And he explained this part here in the song, where he basically saying his father kicked him out the house because he didn't like and listen, and I didn't want to listen to him. So in the movie, Sam didn't really want to listen to his dad. Not directly. He didn't directly not listen to it. He didn't want to be like his dad. And then you see here in the next line, it says, I didn't care about his influence, only love what I was doing. Because Sam only loved what he was doing in the movie. That's it. His father didn't want him to do that. Because his father knew that that type of music conjures up spirits. That's basically what it's saying. You know what I'm saying? He was saying he was gifted with a guitar. And in the movie, Sam was gifted with a guitar. Right? He was gifted with a guitar and he conjured up spirits. This whole song is about spirituality and how how the devil is jumping in and out of body to body to body, influencing people. That's what Sam Father was telling him. That's what he was telling him. I'm off in the sunset, searching for my place in the world, my guitar on my hip as the story unfolds. If you look at the movie, that's exactly what happened. When did he come back? He came back when the sun was coming up. You know what I'm saying? Most talented where I was from, but I had to be a rebel. He was most talented. He was. They said that. This is why I said that Kendrick Lamar talked about this in a song, and the movie came out, and it was a nod to Kendrick. Not directly, but you can see the influence there, or you can see it there from either one. And plus, Kendrick Lamar worked with Ryan Coogler before. So, all right. So there's certain parts in the movie that I want to discuss real quick because I think it's a little bit important in my opinion. So there's a character in the movie. Her name's Mary. And this kind of gives the how would I say this? The dynamic between black men and white women. Right? And I'm gonna explain how he did this so masterfully. And I think that this is, how would I say this? This is one of the reasons why I don't think that people should have a problem with people dating whoever they want when it comes to races. So one of the characters asked her, he talked to one of the twins, and he said, what is she? And he said, she white. And he said, I don't believe that. Right? And we all know what he was implying. Reason why he said he don't believe she white. But you really couldn't tell. He did it very well. This is why her character was so much more important in the grand scheme of things, because it's such a way to put it out there that we are some of us are being infiltrated. I'll just put it to you like that, right? And although she was the total opposite of the black woman, she was totally in love with one of the twins. You know what I'm saying? The other woman that was black was married. And she was maybe searching for something different, searching for something younger. Who knows? Right? But Mary had a different intention because her thing was, and it's so crazy how he wrote this, because this is kind of like, I don't want to say this is how people are, but the way he wrote it as if white women will go out their way and do things to make sure that a black man is successful or safe. Now, it's a reason why I'm saying that. It doesn't mean that the black woman didn't do that, but she was more reserved and she didn't believe everything that he was saying that he was doing. She wasn't naive. So it could be that the black woman was a little more intelligent when it came to real life situations, and the white woman wasn't as intelligent, but she was basing everything off of her feelings. Maybe that's what he was trying to convey. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion. But from what I noticed out of the two is, one was trying to keep the evil out. The other one was trying to bring the evil in. And what I mean by bring them in a way where not actually being evil, but being naive about it. Saying, okay, being more like, let's not think about it. You want to make money? Okay, they got money, let them come in. That's basically how Mary was. There's another part with Mary where Sam asks her, what are you? And that's when they confirm what she was. And that lets you know why the attraction was there between her and one of the twins. And I'll be honest with you, he wanted her to get out. Everybody wanted her to leave. Why are you here? Why are you here? Because there was one part where she said, I thought it was phenomenal writing. Oh my God. It was just something simple. But there's going to be one part where he's going to say something to her. And the way she says it, she's a really good actress. She's a really good actress. But the way she says what she said to one of the twins, yeah, I believed it. I believed it. But it was her character to me was probably the most important, because in a subtle way, he's saying that stick with your own kind, because this could be your downfall. You know what I'm saying? But then if you look at it from another angle, he's saying your own kind will hold you back. You know what I'm saying? Because of certain things that we are not prepared for. And the twins was more like they were outgoing. Most of the black people was reserved. Mary was like them. And it makes sense that they ended up together at the end of the movie, because they were the same person. They just was different colors. You know what I'm saying? Different colors, but different ethnicities. Sorry. Different colors. Like they're green and black, green and purple. But excellent movie, phenomenal movie. I 100% recommend everyone on this channel go see that movie. Everybody go see it. It's a history lesson, but not in a way where it's over the top. And I don't like over the top slavery movies and all that. I don't like that. I get upset about stuff like that. But it was put in such a beautiful way. And I love vampire movies. This is by far one of the best movies I've seen in the last maybe 10 years. I'm going to say, if I had to score this movie, man, I'd probably give this a 10. I ain't going to lie to y'all. I would probably give this movie a 10. It was not one part what I did not like about this movie. Everything, I liked everything about this movie. From the acting to the, oh my God, and the music. Yo, I forgot to mention that. Bro, I ain't gonna tell y'all this one scene that was absolutely phenomenal, what he did. But there's another scene after that, which is another phenomenal scene. And he paid homage to, listen, he paid homage to every nationality, white, black, Asian, anything you could think of. He paid homage to everything. It wasn't like, oh, I'm just paying homage to this, to white people or black people. Nope, he paid homage to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God. Yes, 10. I'm giving it a 10. So tell me what y'all think about the movie. If you've seen it, give me your thoughts on it. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was fantastic. I'm actually going to go see it again because I'm actually going to want to do a little writing on it. I'm going to do a little bit of writing on it because there's certain things that I probably missed that I want to actually see. And I like the movie. It was 2 hours and 12 minutes or something like that. And it was a slow burn all the way up to the fire. It was great. It was absolutely magnificent. So I recommend everybody go see it. Thank y'all for watching. I appreciate it. I'll see y'all on the next one. And yeah, man, I'm out of here. See y'all. Peace. Bye.